Now today we're starting the work on the Honda S2000, specifically on the cooling system. Of course, this being a two-door convertible, it will be used very frequently in the summer, and I want to make sure this cooling system is up to par. We will check the radiator, the cap, the cooling fans, drain the fluid from both the radiator and the block, and really just make sure this thing is ready to rock and roll. Now, testing the radiator and the cap is simple enough. I just have a tool made by Mighty Vac. You can often rent these from your local auto parts store. In my case, I've purchased one, and I'll have links in the description box below to all of the tools that we use today. Multiple adapters, as you can see, for pretty much every make and model. Now, all that you're doing is attaching the vacuum pump to the adapter, and you have a clear hose, vinyl hose, and I just placed some zip ties on the ends, and that's because you don't want any air leaks whatsoever. So let's remove the cap here, and also you have a rubber grommet. Make sure just a little bit of water or coolant is perfectly fine. So we're going to place the adapter on the radiator, and then we have a gauge, and I'm just going to inflate the gauge up to 14-15 psi and see if it holds. So you just press the handle. This releases the pressure, if you're curious. And let's see what we get back here. So we're just coming up on 15 psi. Okay, and just see if it holds. Now, if you see a very, very slow decrease in the pressure, it may just be these points right here and right here. Also, sometimes these are a little delicate. Okay, so make sure everything is really, really secure. But this is holding pressure nicely. So the radiator looks to be in good shape. We'll take a look also at the fins inside. Now let's go ahead and test the cap. Now there's an adapter specifically for caps. Let's move this to the side. And I did notice, looks like the rubber, it also feels that the rubber has degraded, and there's a lot of movement here. But I'm going to spray some water, again on the grommet. Find the right adapter. Make sure it's really tight. Really, really tight. Okay, and you can tell because now I'm completely butted up to the end of that grommet. That's good. Now we grab the other end. Spray some water. There we go. Again, I'll apply around 14 foot-pounds. I'm sorry, 14 psi. And as you can see, nothing. Now again, in a case like this, you want to make sure that all of your connections are really good, really, really tight. I'll double check again. Make sure it's as tight as you can make it. And this is just nothing's happening. So this needs a cap. So again, now is a good time to check these things. Now before we test the cooling fans, I just want to drain the coolant from the radiator. That's simple enough. There's a little fastener on the bottom which drains the coolant. I have no idea the last time this was ever replaced, so now is a good time to do it. Also, there is a drain bolt, very difficult to see. It's behind this oil filter for the engine block. I'll try to get that on camera for you in a moment, but let's start by draining the coolant here from the radiator. Now take a look at this drain fastener. The washer is completely gone. So again, a very, very good time to go over everything. And this is really good stuff, by the way. I like this stuff a lot better than cat litter. Even sawdust does a really good job at absorbing any spills on the garage floor. Now testing the cooling fans are simple enough. Right here is the cooling fan motor. There's another one on the opposite end. And if you follow the wiring, it leads up to a harness connector. And there's a little tab. Press down on the tab, pull on the body, don't pull from the wiring. And inside, you'll find two metal prongs. And we just need to recreate what happens in the vehicle, which is essentially power being sent to the fan so it kicks on. So let's make sure that it works, that the motor is fine. Now you can hook up your car battery, which I tend not to do, it's too cumbersome and dangerous and so forth, or any external battery pack. So this is just from simply a cordless drill. So I'm going to apply power from the battery pack directly to this. Now, if you take a look at the battery pack, you have a positive and a negative. Now this is simple enough. I just took a paper clip and I cut the paper clip in half. Okay. Then I have two wires with alligator ends, and this again I purchased off Amazon, which I will have a link in the description box below if you do need them. So on the battery pack, one to positive, okay. The other, of course, goes to negative. Now I have to be careful when I do this. So right here, just in case if you're not too sure, okay. Let me do this first, actually, because I don't want to cross the wires. And I'll come in for a zoom in a second. Okay. Now what I'll do, actually, let me do this, maybe a little bit easier. So I'm just touching the other prong. Now once I attach this to the battery, the fan should spin. And there we go. So this fan motor is in perfect shape. Now I can test the other one on the driver's side. Now sometimes you may have the overflow bottle in the way. Typically they just lift out, like so. Lifts out of its holder. Right here is the plastic tab. Okay, hook everything up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so both fans are in good shape. Again, this is something you want to do before you take a long drive in 100-degree weather and find out that the fans don't work and now you're stuck on the side of the road. Now, a couple of other things that you just want to check. Of course, the upper and the lower radiator hoses, these seem to be in good shape. Typically, if they're very, very hard, of course, a very good time to replace them, even if they're too soft. But these still feel okay to me. Same with the heating hoses back here. They're okay. The water pump, make sure it spins freely. In fact, you can even look on top, there's a weeping hole. If you spin this counterclockwise, of course you would do this before you drain the fluid, but if you spin this counterclockwise and you see a lot of fluid coming out, that's a good sign that you need a water pump. But everything's okay in that sense. The last thing I just want to check, right on the bottom there's a switch. It's a radiator fan switch. I just want to test and make sure that it's working correctly. So again, there's just a harness connector. You just pull off by pressing down on the tab. This is a 24 millimeter adapter. Now to test the switch, we need a digital multimeter. This I purchased off Amazon for less than $20, and every multimeter does essentially the same thing. You have two leads, a black and a red lead, and in our case we need to do a continuity test. Now that's the Wi-Fi symbol on the multimeter. Continuity simply means 2 points make a connection, okay? And you hear an audible alert. Now, taking a look at the switch, you have two prongs again, two metal prongs. So I'm grabbing my alligator clips here, placing one. What I'm going to do is place one lead over that first prong and then slip down the boot. So when I attach the second lead, it won't interfere. Okay, something like that. Then these just hook up to the multimeter. Okay, simple enough. Now right now we won't have any continuity if this is working correctly, which it is. Okay, we don't have an audible alert. What I need to do is heat up the end of this switch. Now to do that, I'm going to heat up some water. And this switch turns on roughly at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to boil water, bring it down here, we'll place it down, and I'll dip this into the very, very hot water. And this should trick. You should hear a continuity audible alert, and that tells us that the switch is working correctly. Now this just came off the stove, so it's very, very hot. And I'm just going to place the switch right there so it can warm up. And as this warms up, to see if we have continuity, I'm going to drain the coolant from the engine block. Now getting access to the drain bolt is not that difficult. Unfortunately, there's no way I can film and remove this fastener at the same time. It just can't be done. But ultimately what I did, I removed the oil filter. That gave me more working room. And then right there, that's the drain bolt. Now I've already drained the fluid. As you can tell, it makes a little bit of a mess. But once you drain the fluid, you just reinsert that, there you go, that drain plug. Put a little bit of RTV sealant on the end of it, and that's it. We're good to go. And wrapping up the episode very quickly, unfortunately, we do need a new switch. It's been a good 15 minutes. There's just no continuity. That's more than enough time for that to heat up. And perhaps that's why the previous owner upgraded to an aluminum, really a racing radiator. Perhaps he had just cooling issues. Ultimately, it's just that switch. Inside here, everything looks okay. There's no oil residue. I've already drained the coolant into a container. Everything looks great, just straight coolant, no oil whatsoever. So we're one step closer to starting this vehicle. I'm not going to install new fluid just yet, new coolant, because I have to bleed the system. There's another bleeder valve right there once the car is running. So next episode, it's oil, transmission, diff fluid, adjust the valves, clean the injectors, hopefully get them reinstalled. One step closer to getting this car up and running, and then we can tackle the bodywork and hopefully have a driving vehicle. If you'd like to see that, please subscribe. Comments, questions, please leave it below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.